All right, y'all. So I did what you asked me to do, and I gave y'all some time to go watch The Polygamist on Netflix. And if you didn't by now, we got to move forward. So I am going to share with y'all my thoughts. You are free to disagree, okay? But this is the unpopular opinions of Coach Keish, and here is what I got out of all of it. So first of all, it's a Netflix special, 22 episodes, about 25 minutes an episode, worth the watch, all right? Worth the watch. Now, for character reference, this here is Jonas. And this is probably the most popular face you have seen in people talking about this show, because Jonas is the villain and he is the patriarch of this family. Jonas has 3 wives. Wife number 1 is Joyce. Wife number 2 is Essie. And wife number 3 is Matipa. This over here is his daughter, Pume. And that one there was a little girlfriend. We'll get to her when we get to her. But listen, although I will agree 110% that Jonas is in fact the villain of the entire story, these 3 women are not his victims. Absolutely 100% not. So stay tuned, because we're going to get right down into why Coach doesn't think they were victims. I figure we start our way from the bottom and work our way to the top. So this here is wife number 3, Matipa. Now, the downside for Matipa is she don't know she wife number 3. She has no idea about that part. But what Matipa does know is that when she met Jonas working at his business, she knew he was married. And she set out to get his attention and succeeded, because as we know, Jonas can't let a good piece of booty get by. Now, what I do love about my girl is she is dressed to death every episode. Whoever is doing the costume design and putting the stylist on this show, they deserve an award for that alone, because baby, every day the looks was looking. Now the wigs, on the other hand, I want you to look at that wig, a little bit questionable, but at the end of the day, solid work. Now, the problem I have with Matipa is Matipa was okay with humiliating Joyce. She was okay, because I'm not here to judge second woman, third woman, side piece. We're not here for that. What we're here for is people show you who they are. So she meets a man, she likes the guy, she goes after the guy. Granted, he says he's going to get a divorce. That's all well and good. However, she made it her life's work to call Joyce a hag, to get on the phone publicly and talk about her with her friends, and then was all kind of butthurt when Joyce whooped her ass. But at the end of the day, Matipa was not a victim. She got caught up in a situation she could not back herself out of, but there's no part of this woman here that is a victim. This woman was willing to participate as long as the shenanigans was not shenaning her, you see. Now this is wife number 2. This is Essie. Now, Essie has known Jonas the longest. They were friends first. She knew he was a womanizer from day one. From way before him and her had a thing, they had a thing. They had an understanding. She always looked out for him. She covered for him with other women. When he started promising her the world, if you choose me, if you be with me, I'm going to change my ways, she fell for the okie doke. So he goes away to college with some money that she provided to him. And as such, he meets Joyce. He marries Joyce. And then he comes back home already a married man. Now he's telling Essie, listen, baby, the problem is, her daddy gave me some money to start my business, and that's why I married her, but I love you. And then he asked her to be his second wife, to which she agreed. But her understanding, I think at that time, because she didn't ask the pertinent question, is that everybody would know that she's the second wife. Why is this such a big deal? Because in their culture, polyamory love and polygamy is not frowned upon, honey. You can be the second wife. So she becomes the second wife, gets pregnant with their daughter, Sarah. And then one day while she's out shopping with her husband, she runs into Joyce, who is also shopping. Now, at that moment, Jonas could have came clean. No, at that moment, he chose to tell Joyce that Essie was his brother's wife, and he was just helping them out by taking her shopping for their upcoming baby. So she spent an entire lifetime as the second wife in secret. Her daughter was raised as a niece of, but not the daughter of Jonas. And so she bought into the narrative that it was okay for her to be the secret. Why does this piss me off? First of all, she lived in the worst house. Not a bad house, but she lived in Soweto. It was a lower income neighborhood. She wasn't living fabulously. Her daughter wasn't living fabulously. It was a clear difference between the life that Jonas offered even to Matipa that he did not offer to Essie, and Essie continued to be in his life. She continued to love him. She continued to be okay with being his secret second wife. Again, that ain't victim mentality. Now this here mama is Joyce. Joyce was the first wife. Now, I will say, if anybody gets to be a victim in this story, she initially does, because she doesn't come into the picture knowing all these things about him. She did not know him from the past. They meet in college, at least that's what I'm understanding from the storyline, and they fall in love. She marries him. Her dad helps him out build his business. J&J, Joyce and Jonas. She really believes that she's it. Now, I can believe that along the way, he was cheating, he was messing around, he was publicly doing things he wasn't necessarily keeping secrets about his other situations, but he, of course, did not tell her anything about another wife. She finds this out along the way when he decides he's going to divorce her. He was willing to divorce Joyce to marry Matipa, but he wasn't willing to do any of it for Essie. Now, there's a part of me that says, Essie was the big girl, and because she was the big girl, she was expected to be okay with being a little known Black history fact. However, Joyce wanted, because of their status in the world, she wanted to continue to play a game with him and fight off all of these other women that she blamed for her husband's ways. But where my girl does not get to be the victim at all is the fact that when you see this man in this here scene right here, rolled into a party that Joyce is throwing by his then girlfriend, when she rolls him in looking the hell like this here. Now, we all know that he was messing around with every woman he can get his hands on. So quite possibly he could have caught from any doggone where, right? However, what nobody else knew but Joyce did is Joyce is the architect of this fucking disaster, because Joyce sent the bitch to do it. Okay, Joyce truly thought she got the last laugh. But let me tell you something. Let me keep it $150. If he ever treated me, all of my fatness, the way he treated those women, there is no goddamn way he would have been rolling his ass back up into my house looking the fuck like this, talking about this your husband, you need to get him, because I would have whooped his dying ass and hers too. But this here, baby, Joyce got her name all over this right here. Now, where I think it could come back to truly bite Joyce in the ass is that although she wanted her son to be nothing like his father, there's a part of him that wants to be nothing more or less than exactly what his father was. And as such, he goes and sleeps with that little girlfriend I showed you in the beginning. He goes and sleeps with her, but she was sleeping with him. Victims? I think not.